And for more on this, let's now bring in Deputy Minister of Defence and Military Veterans of South Africa, Mr. Bantu Holomisa, and he joins us now via our video link. Deputy Minister, thank you so much for your time this evening here on SABC News. I mean, let's start off here. Of course, we now know that there is this will for peace, and it's a China-led multinational naval exercise involving, BRICS countries. This has particularly raised many red flags in the country. Maybe tell us more about this.
Well, I don't know why would it raise red flags, because the SANDF has been participating in exercises of this nature for many years. And we are looking forward to rub shoulders with the more countries which have developed a technology in the military sphere. And I think the morale of our troops will be raised as a result of this. And also we will be showcasing our own technology, where we would say to them, we are able to detect people who are doing mischievous ways in our coastline, both in Atlantic as well as Indian Ocean. So maybe, who knows, those people will end up being interested in what we are doing on the ground to make sure that South Africa is secured, notwithstanding the negative perceptions or negative noises which have been there that we are not adequately funded. So I'm happy that at least our naval equipment will be participating along with the naval equipment of other countries.
And Deputy Minister, you speak a lot about security and essentially that this will be good for the country when it comes to monitoring the country's shores and the country's coastline, and particularly with the use of, technology. What does this also mean then for South Africa?
It simply means that when we buy or purchase equipment for our troops who are in the Navy, we must make sure that we have an accurate cameras which can bring the suspicious activities closer to our operations room. In that way, we would have saved a lot of money instead of having ships flowing, ships moving along the coast all over. Now we can be in a position with the technology we have to send a ship closer to where the problem is, and also use helicopters to screen that particular ship. So I think the technology of South Africa, which was developed through Armscor and Tinel, is still relevant technology.
And Deputy Minister, let's go back to, the criticisms when it comes to this operation being carried out in the Western Cape. I mean, this comes at a time when it is a BRICS event also taking place, and the countries involved, of course, being the likes of Russia, being the likes of Iran, being the likes of China, all part, of course, as well as from the BRICS partners. What do you make of the criticism under this climate when we find geopolitics, the tensions are rising high, and many saying that, well, it seems as if, South Africa wants to find itself on the wrong side, particularly when it seems as if we may be agitating countries like the US and, the UK, as well as the EU?
In actual fact, if I can refer you to the Geneva summit between Gorbachev, the then president of Russia, and Ronald Reagan, I think it was 1985-86, where they took a decision to do away with Cold War. During that time, South Africa was seen to be siding with the West, and then the liberation movements were being seen to be supported by the East, in particular Russia and China. Now, if you look at the the nonsense which has just erupted in the Northern Hemisphere, where the USA is being accused of not following the international laws of the world. You begin to sense that there are signs that we are regressing. We are going back to the era of the Cold War. Unfortunately for you and others who are having those fears, you are speaking now to someone who has been with the president, former president of the ANC, President Mandela. We traveled all over the world. We addressed, both of us, we addressed the UN Security Council. He also addressed other forums on the need to promote peace in the world. And we have said we don't want to see what had happened during the Cold War. But it looks like if one analyzes the situation of geopolitical setup, there are those who would like to be seen to be to be dominating or instructing and also undermining the institution. So South Africa is a friend to USA, to China, to Russia, Iran. All of us were members of the United Nations. So therefore, this hypocrisy of saying, no, you can't do this because X doesn't like country X, your enemy might not necessarily be mine.
Yeah, but Minister, you know, the criticisms also coming in that this may have a negative impact for the country's economy. It also may also affect the country's trade. Are you not concerned when it comes to those issues?
No, the purpose of this exercise is precisely to make sure that the trade is going on freely. If you look at the current situation in the Gulf areas, a lot of ships now are unable to pass through that area. As a result, they are flocking the Cape route from east to west, from west to east. So we have to make sure that the Indian Ocean and Atlantic Ocean, we cooperate in protecting it. The USA itself is part and parcel of making sure that there's stability in these oceans.
All right,
that is precisely why. That's why, for instance, in August last year, the SANDF, as well as the USA Army, were scheduled to do joint exercises in Bloemfontein. It has been taking place all along, but we're not going to allow anyone to dictate who should be our friends.
All right, Deputy Minister, thank you so much for your time and for that explanation. That's Deputy Minister of Defence and Military Veterans there, Bantu Holomisa, just giving us a synopsis in terms of what we can expect, of course, as this multinational naval exercise takes place in the Western Cape.